Pakistan claims to have won the tariff war with none other than the United States. And guess who is paying for it? India. Washington is giving Islamabad a firm handshake over barrels of oil while imposing high tariffs on Indian goods. Indeed, oil is once again as the core of a geopolitical agreement. Let's figure out what's actually going on, who stands to gain, who is gushing blood. What does this signify for India's trade strategy, diplomacy, and economy? The US-Pakistan deal began with oil. A deal to store US crude oil in Pakistani facilities was signed by the US and Pakistan, currently holding close to 600 million barrels. Washington is diversifying its strategic petroleum reserve. Washington accepted Pakistan's offer of land, but that wasn't the true price. The United States is currently examining Section 301 tariffs on sports goods and textile from Pakistan, which currently range from 17 to 32%. Last year, Pakistan exported more than $4.55 billion worth of textile to the United States. Pakistani exporters could save more than $900 million a year if these tariffs are removed. This isn't free trade, it's strategic favoritism. What about India? The United States quietly imposed new tariffs on Indian goods on the same day that this deal made headlines. The American market is now more difficult to access for chemicals, steel, and aluminium. Indian metal is now too costly and uncompetitive due to tariffs of up to 25%. So what did India do to deserve this? The US president gave his answer at a recent rally. He said that India has a very large trade deficit with the US, that they are taking advantage. In 2023, India had a trade surplus with the US of about $48 billion. That's because we send out IT, pharma, engineering, diamonds, and chemicals that are worth a lot of money. And we get oil, defense, gear, and tech hardware from the US. Yes, there is a trade imbalance, but it is a fair one. No changing of currency, no dumping. The President of the United States didn't stop there. He also said that India is too close to Russia. It's not a new problem. India has stayed neutral in the Ukraine war for strategic reasons. It keeps buying cheap Russian oil, which helps keep fuel prices from going up too much. It still buys defense gear and S-400 missiles from Moscow. But for Washington, that's a betrayal. If you don't do what we say, we will raise your tariffs. However, not everyone is happy with the deal. Baloch separatist leaders went public shortly after the oil pact was announced. They claimed that Pakistan cannot sell or lease the land that contains those oil reserves. They accused Islamabad of trading stolen resources with foreign powers and assert that the oil is located in Balochistan. It's also not the first time Baloch leaders claim they have been routinely left out and taken advantage of, starting with China, CPEC projects, and continuing with the US oil deal. The US, which calls itself as a flag bearer of democracy, is now cutting oil deals with a government that is allegedly repressing its own provinces. What about the Baloch people? Silenced again. This oil pact followed these reductions in tariffs for Pakistan as well as the US president's absurd ceasefire declaration. It was political gold for the opposition. For the state, a migraine of diplomacy. India's trade surplus, according to the US, is excessive. That our oil purchases from Russia are too much. That our alignment is insufficient. And how did they respond? Tariffs totaling more than $2 billion on Indian goods. Pakistan also receives a public pat on the back from the US, a deal on oil reserves, and possible tariff relief. Pakistan may consider it a victory, but history demonstrates that the worst possible love triangle is one involving America, oil, and a third world nation, and the person with the barrels never comes out on top. Tell us what you think. Should India retaliate, or is this just another storm we wade through? Tell us in the comments and hit that like button if you found this information useful, share it, and of course subscribe. Thanks for watching and stay tuned to WantStats for the news that matters.